BG Pick'ems. I am your host, BG, and we are doing a live edition of me picking my Week 4 picks. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. One, if you want to follow along with all of my picks on a week-to-week basis, scan that QR code up in the corner. That is my ESPN link for all of my picks each and every week. See if you can keep up with me right now. As of right now, I think I'm 32-15 for the first 3 weeks, and would love for you guys to get involved with all that stuff. And as always, all of my episodes are always sponsored by Dad Gang. And if you want to join the Dad Gang community, go ahead and use this link provided right here on my screen, and you can get 15% off of your Dad Gang order. Thanks to me. And they have super nice hats. Like, this is kind of like a suede almost. It's really nice. It's got a nice little New York logo on the side here. So, great product that they have. They also have more than just hats. They have hats. They have shirts, hoodies, pins, and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a gift for your dad, then you can also find the link in the description of my videos. But shout out to Dad Gang for sponsoring this video. And with that being said, man, let's go ahead and get into some Week 4 picks. So last week, I think I went 10-6 with my picks. So I try to stay on the double-digit side as much as I possibly can with wins or with picking winners. Last week was rough, though. So we're going to hopefully have a better week this week. And so with this slate, Thursday we're starting off with the Seahawks and the Cardinals. So they're going to be debuting the rivalry uniforms. And hopefully, I don't know if that's going to have any impact, but Seattle's looked really good. The Cardinals got a dose of reality this past week against the 49ers, a banged up 49ers team nonetheless. But Seattle's been rolling. They've been rolling. I mean, they rolled over the Saints. They rolled over the Steelers. I mean, they've been doing good. Sam Darnold out there on the West Coast has been doing pretty well. And I expect that trend to continue. So go ahead and give me the Seahawks. Next up, we have our first international game of the season. That's going to be hosted in Dublin. And that is the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Minnesota's defense had a phenomenal game. Their offense did really well, too. Jordan Mason got in for 2 touchdowns. Carson Wentz, I think, threw 1 or 2 touchdowns. And they looked like a well-oiled machine. I mean, special teams, defense, and offense were all playing really well. And it's going to be hard to continue that. Hop on the 8-hour flight from Minnesota to Dublin and, try and continue that and mirror that again. And Pittsburgh has, I don't know, they looked pretty good week 1, right? Aaron Rodgers threw 4 TDs, and the next week he was okay. Last week, a lot of miscues and a lot of turnovers, and so I don't know what to think of them. So my gut tells me to go with Minnesota, and I think that's where I'm going to lean. I think they can still hold on to that defense and that well-oiled machine that they had. So go ahead and give me Minnesota. All right, next up, we got the Washington Commanders and the Atlanta Falcons. Man, did it put a smile on my face to see the Atlanta Falcons get absolutely shut out by the Panthers. Now, I know the Panthers are also a divisional rival of the Bucs, but it still put a smile on my face because, the Falcons, I just don't like them. Anyways, with that being said, Washington, Marcus Mariota looked really good. I mean, if you're going to have a guy that can step in to replace Jaden Daniels, even for a few weeks, I think Marcus Mariota is a great fit because you don't have to change the playbook that much. They're both very mobile quarterbacks. So changing the playbook, you don't really have to do, and you're gonna get as much as that high-powered offense out of Marcus Mariota, who, remember, was a number 2 overall pick. Just as you would out of Jaden Daniels. So with this game, I'm gonna say Washington continues, and so I have now picked 3 consecutive road teams to win. So hopefully that changes, but also I just don't want to see Atlanta win. This may be biased and unbiased, but I just don't want to see Atlanta win. All right, next up we have the New Orleans Saints going into Buffalo to play the Bills. The Saints just can't figure it out, can they? Buffalo, they had that scare week 1, that they came back from, and they've looked pretty stout since then. And, the Saints just can't figure it out, man. And, they throw in Tyler Schaff or whatever his name is, to replace Spencer Rattler because they were getting beat so bad, and he didn't even really look all that great. So give me Buffalo. Buffalo should win this pretty easily, probably at least by like 14 to 17 points. So go ahead and give me Buffalo. All right, next up we got the Chargers going into New York to play the Giants. The Chargers, again, a 3-0 team, looking good. They've taken down, I think, 2 division rivals. And, 3. 3 divisions. So they've swept. Well, they haven't swept, but they've started the season with 3 divisional matchups. They beat the Chiefs in Sao Paulo. They beat the Raiders, Monday night on week 2, and then they just beat the Broncos. So they're running through the AFC West right now. And the travel from Los Angeles to New York can get a little tricky, but I think New York has got some positives. I really do. I think benching Russell Wilson is the right move and starting Jackson Dart. Hopefully speedy recovery for Tyrone Tracy, but Cam Scatterboo looking like a juggernaut out there, playing really well. He was definitely the highlight of that offense against the Chiefs, and that was only because Malik Neighbors was not really anywhere. Well, can't say that he wasn't anywhere to be found, but like they had him locked up. And but I think Jackson Dart, breathes a little bit of life into this team. I'm not going to pick them, but I think the Chargers take this game. But I'm not going to be surprised if the Giants keep it competitive. So I would almost take the Chargers by 1 score. All right, next up we got the AFC South Toilet Bowl between the Titans and the Texans, and this is just a game that I'm not going to want to watch. Luckily, I will not be watching this game. This is going to be one of those, like, it's showdown red zone for maybe 15 minutes total. Probably low scoring. The Texans recently get rid of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Reasons, no idea. But the biggest highlight of the Titans has been Cam Ward. He's slowly progressing, even though he doesn't have a lot. But he's slowly progressing and slowly getting it. As far as C.J. Stroud goes, his offensive line is terrible. Just call it like it is. It's terrible. He's going to end up like another Joe Burrow if the Houstons don't do anything about it. So, with this game, bro, this could end in a tie. Honestly, it really could. Give me the Titans on like a last-second field goal or something, or to win by a field goal. All right, next up we got the Cleveland Browns going into Detroit to play the Lions. Cleveland with the shocker last week to take down the Green Bay Packers, who many thought would be unstoppable. And I don't know if it's so much as the Browns played good or as so much the Packers just played bad. So there's that. I can't put a finger on it. There's no rhyme or reason why I think the Browns could have won that game. The only thing they had going for them was their defense. So, but since that week 1 loss, the Lions have looked fantastic. I mean, they put up 50 on Detroit, and then they go into Baltimore, and they get a very solid victory on the road. So I'm going to take the Lions here. I don't think the Browns can pull off 2 NFC North upsets in a row. So give me the Lions here. All right, next up we got the Carolina Panthers going into New England to play the Patriots. This game, as much as I liked Carolina winning last week, I also don't want them to get cocky and confident. So I've seen a lot of pluses from the Patriots. I think Drake May looking good. If Ramondre Stevenson could hold on to the damn ball, we'd probably have a different game. We would have said that the Patriots won that game rather than Pittsburgh, but I digress. I think this could be a really good game as far as maybe not high scoring, but I feel like there could just be a good mix of things. I feel like there's going to be a good mix of defense, and I feel like 2 very young. Excuse me. I feel as if 2 very young quarterbacks going at it are destined to have a pretty good day. But give me the Patriots to win this game. All right. Next up, as everybody calls it on KFR Sportscast, is the Gilbert Bowl. So my wife obviously being a Philadelphia fan and myself being a Tampa Bay fan. Man, oh man. So the Philadelphia Eagles flying into Tampa Friday instead of their scheduled Saturday to kind of acclimate to the Florida weather. And also news coming out of Tampa that the Bucs have signed Desmond Watson to their practice squad. So for those of you who don't know, Desmond Watson was big boy at Florida, interior lineman. He was 460 pounds, and we brought him in as an undrafted free agent. And then they ended up cutting him because he couldn't lose enough weight. Well, now they signed him. He's worked out. He's met the goals, I guess, that they were initially looking for. Todd Bowles says that it's not because of the Eagles that they're re-signing him, to prevent this tush push from happening. Although Tampa is one of the only teams that's been able to prevent it in recent history. So, with this being said, the Bucs have had the Eagles number for the last few years. I've gotten to enjoy watching Tampa beat Philadelphia after watching Philadelphia beat Tampa for a long time during the late 90s and early 2000s. This is going to be a game that comes down to whoever has the ball in their hands last. And as of recently, it's been Baker. We saw with Philadelphia kind of go into not really scramble mode, but kind of flip the switch from first half to second half against the Rams. Golly gee. I'm going to pick Tampa, not confidently. But I do think this game is going to end up a 28-31 final score. That's kind of what this game is going to come down to. Is going to be a 28-31 score. But give me the Bucs. But wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles won. So, but give me the Bucs. All right, so rolling into the 4 o'clock window, 3 o'clock if you're here in Nashville like I am. The Colts and the Rams. Daniel Jones, it's hard to pick against him right now. It really is. 3+ rushing touchdowns, 3+ passing touchdowns, and no interceptions. I mean, it's really hard to pick against him. So, the Rams looked stout in the first half against the Eagles. I think if there's anything that helps, it's that they're playing in LA. Hi. Give me the Rams at home. I think if anybody's going to benefit from home field advantage, it's going to be the Rams in this game. So give me the Rams. But this is going to be a close one. This is going to be like one of those things where it's going to be depend on who has the ball in their hands last. I think this is probably, if I had to guess, probably another 24-27 game, or 24-28 or whatever, or 27-29 kind of game. So, but give me the Rams. All right, next up we got the Jacksonville Jaguars going into San Francisco to play the 49ers. Jacksonville, don't really know what to make of them. I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the guy. I really don't. He got drafted in 2019, 2018, something like that, right? He's supposed to be this high and mighty quarterback, and he just has not produced. Oh my gosh, he just has not produced. He's so mediocre, it's not even funny. They've tried to put weapons around him, and he can't perform. He can't. San Francisco on the other side, they were making something out of nothing last week with Mac Jones. No George Kittle. CMC's playing healthy. He only played 4 games last year. So this week will tie, his games last year. You get rid of Deebo Samuel. Nick Bosa is also going to be out for the rest of the year with a torn ACL, I believe. I think it's an ACL or an Achilles. I think it's ACL. So, but I think, give me San Francisco at home. The Jags just don't impress me. They really don't. All right, next up is going to be the Ravens and the Chiefs. 2 teams that are 1-2 and very much struggling, obviously. The Chiefs getting their first win against the Giants last week, and the Ravens getting their first win a couple weeks ago against the Browns. They're beating up on teams that you're supposed to beat up on, but again, these teams, they're starting off so slow. It kind of concerns me. One of these teams is going to go to 1-3, and if I had to pick which one I want to go to 1-3, it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think Baltimore has shown that they can keep up with anybody. They can't close out the games, and Derrick Henry losing fumbles and big games at big moments doesn't help. Sorry, I'm yawning so much. It's just it's almost my bedtime. But give me the Ravens to win this game. Give me the Ravens. Next up, we got the Bears and the Raiders. Bears looked good. There's no... I didn't have them in my picks beating the Cowboys, but I needed them to beat the Cowboys. I just needed the Cowboys to do bad, and they did just that for me. So, I think they're slowly progressing, and maybe Caleb Williams is kind of hitting his stride now. Maybe Ben Johnson was the answer. Caleb Williams is having the sophomore year that C.J. Stroud needs to have. But the Raiders, I feel like they're there, but they're not all there at the same time. If the Bears can play like they did last week, their defense has been playing well. The offense was playing well last week. They were playing well at all three phases. The Bears can easily win this game. So I'm going to take Chicago. I'll take Chicago in this game. All right, Sunday Night Football, we got the Micah Parsons Bowl. Micah Parsons heading back to Dallas to sack Dak Prescott. Both teams coming off of losses. Bro. No CeeDee Lamb for Dallas. Just George Pickens. Bro, I feel like the Packers are about to terrorize them. Give me the Packers in this game. 34-10. Like that's what I'm feeling right now. That is a true gut feeling. 34-10. Packers over Cowboys. All right, next we got a doubleheader on Monday. If you had any plans on Monday, keep them. Because these are not going to be exciting. Jets and Dolphins going to, again, unveil the rivalry jerseys. That'll be the best part of that game, is seeing the new jerseys. Bro, tie. That's tie. Okay, moving on. Cincinnati Bengals going into Denver to play the Broncos again. Like, it seems like Bo Nix is kind of slowly heading down, but I think this is a game that he can pop back up, and the Bengals need a bounce back win. So this I could see being a better game than that first one. But give me the Broncos. Give me the Broncos on this one. So, but that about does it for this episode of BG Pick'ems. Again, remember, if you want to follow along with me week to week, hit that QR code. Where is it? Right there in the corner. Hit that QR code, and you can follow along with me week to week with ESPN Pick'ems. Right? So we can go up against each other. You can do better than me, or I can do better than you. And you can fill out week to week all of the picks for each NFL game. Also, if you want to get a Dad Gang hat for either your dad or yourself, 15% off your order if you use the QR code below. Go ahead and use it. Get yourself swagged out for being in the Dad Gang community. It's very much an important role that we play in our children's lives, is being a parent and being a dad. So if you want to get 15% off and get a gift for your dad or yourself, use the link below here on the screen, and you can get yourself 15% off. Other than that, guys, hey, listen, I appreciate you tuning into this live event of BG Pick'ems. I know last week I didn't put out a video. I just had a whole lot going on. But this week we got a video out, at the very least. So, but other than that, I really appreciate you guys tuning in and kind of chatting it up with me. And if you got any other inputs, right, this will still be posted on Facebook and Facebook and YouTube. So you can drop a comment below and I'll see it. Let me know what you thought about my picks, and if you liked them, if you didn't like them, what I get right, what do you think I got wrong. But just make sure that you drop a comment, show the video some love. And again, if you want to follow along with the picks that I do each week, get that QR code right there in the corner. Other than that, guys, this has been BG with BG Pick'ems and KFR Sportscast. Follow us on social media at KFR SBRTScast, and I will talk to you guys next time.